Hi, I'm Maria Theoharis or Velo Sews on social media. Welcome back to Sew Organised Style podcast. Grab a cuppa and relax with us. Many thanks for the ongoing support from the Patreon community for Sew Organised Style podcast. Your ongoing support every month keeps me developing these podcasts so you and our listeners can hear from sewers from all walks of life. Thank you for being patient while the editorial team for the Sew Over 50 Instagram account took a 2-week mid-year break.
This year we were thinking it would be very nice to have, again, that focus to keep you going, to know why you're sewing.
Today's episode is to focus on the big sew-off. Yep, it's on again this year. Last year was the inaugural big sew-off and it was organised by Sew Over at London. And with everyone's help for this 24-hour marathon sewathon, £10,000 was raised for Mind Charity. That's amazing. This year, it's on again from the 4th of September through to the 5th, starting at 10 a.m. and finishing at 10 a.m. the next day. So it's a 24-hour marathon of sewing. Alma is here from the Sew Over at London team. She's one of the key organisers, but all of the team members at Sew Over It are involved, as well as many partners. So she's here today to let us know about what is happening for the big sew-off this year. Thank you for your time to come onto the podcast. I've had the chat with Janine.
Oh, brilliant.
Yes. And she's really excited, because she got involved with Sew Over It a couple of years ago. She's been saying yes to all of these things, and when she's had that conversation with you last year about getting involved, she's now really excited that she's going to be getting involved this year. So that's really great.
I know. I'm so excited that she's doing the full 24 hours. I don't know if that's a wise choice.
I mean, you went through it last year and she's actually doing some preparation dry runs with some of the things that she's thinking of making. Isn't that amazing?
So good. But it's a good idea because I'm planning to make things that I've made before for sure, because I don't want any surprises. So it's, it's like, oh, there's this technique involved and it's 2 a.m. in the morning. No, thank you.
I think it's just wonderful that Sew Over It organised it last year and you went through all of the motions setting up and being there at the time. While you've been planning it this year, have all of those feelings and stresses from last year come to the fore, or have you been able to push that aside?
Big time stresses. It was amazing last year, but I do remember the lead up to it was quite intense, and also the feeling afterwards, which was a great mixture of a huge achievement because of what we managed to do, because we managed to raise £10,000 for mental health charity Mind. So that felt incredible. But also, I just was in a sort of coma afterwards. I just couldn't do anything for a few hours when I got home. I was just completely floored by the fact that we stayed up. I did have a little nap last year, I have to confess. It was still a long time of sewing. This year, we're going into it thinking, yes, we clearly can do this.
Yes.
We managed to do it last year. It was amazing. This year, there's way more people involved from the sewing world, which has made me so happy and so proud that people are coming on board. So I think this year will be even bigger and better. But of course, that also means on the flip side that there's more to organize. My email inbox is popping up with big sew-off questions constantly. It's a big undertaking. But because we have the example of last year and how well it went, that pushes us on. And it's just all very, very exciting.
It was really great to see how you all pushed through, at the 12-hour mark and then later on. And with a bit of sleep deprivation, life just gets more crazy.
It does, doesn't it? I mean, Lisa, who's the founder of Sew Over It, and it was her idea to do the big sew-off. So she definitely ran a lot of the lives last year. This year, we're going to have lots of different people that we connect with from outside the room. So I think we'll all take it in turns to sort of interview, like you're doing with me now, but interview the different people, different sewing businesses and sewing personalities, celebrities, as we like to say. I think with social media in general, there's a lot of presentation that needs to happen. You need to make sense in a conversation, which is something that's not so easy to do at midnight.
No.
So you need to be clear enough, and you need energy, right? You don't want something boring for people to watch.
No.
I do a lot of content for the So Over It social media, and now I'm doing some content for the Big Sew Off as well. And that takes a lot on a person, I think, in terms of energy and just mentally being present and being there and being exciting and being engaging. That becomes harder and harder during the night. But watching back on some of the lives last year, they were just hilarious because we were quite out of it. And so I'm sure there will be moments like that again. And as you're in Australia, you will see the worst of us.
Oh, come on.
You'll tune in at the time when we're really starting to lose it. But it's the funniest time. Here in the UK, people will probably wake up and catch up from those delirious moments. Whereas, yeah, it will be the morning and the early afternoon for you, I guess.
Something like that.
Yeah.
The fun part last year was I was watching how it was all unfolding. And I messaged you, and it must have been 5 a.m. our time. And I could see you guys were getting tired. And that's when I put the offer out. Do you want me to come on live to give you a hand?
It was amazing.
I messaged Sandy to come up with some points so that you wouldn't have to worry too much about it. So I think that's part of helping each other out.
That is amazing. Yeah.
You guys were doing it all. And I just thought, okay, for this, 2 minutes, let me just give you a hand.
You were in the driving seat, which is a lot of help, honestly. Yeah, I think it's even making decisions or like focusing on points. It's a lot to come up with on the spot. So yeah, that was an incredible help. And we're going to do it again this year. So
Yay.
I think around 4 a.m. our time, you're going to come to the rescue, which will be amazing. Thank you so much.
You're welcome, Alma. What I'm doing is only a drop in the ocean compared to what you're doing.
But it's huge. And also we love that it's all international, and we want everyone to hear about this. Yeah, it means a lot.
This year, there are some additional hubs that I've read. Can you talk us through that?
Of course. The Sew Over It team and a few other sewing people will be the Big Sew Off HQ. So we'll be the heart of the whole thing. This year, it's so much nicer. We'll be at a shop that's called the New Craft House in London. And, already that feels nicer because it's meant to be a sewing space. There is beautiful fabric around. It will be more inspiring. And I think it will feel more like a social situation in a way. So that will be the HQ. And then so far we have 4 hubs, we're calling them. So they're around the UK. We have some up in Scotland, some down in Essex, all across the country. The hubs are great because they're opening their doors to customers. Sewists can pop in and take part in the Big Sew Off from these beautiful fabric shops and sewing studios around the country, which is very exciting. Some hubs are asking for a donation to Mind to join the hub. If you would go for a sewing class at a fabric shop, you would pay a certain amount. So they're asking for that amount to go to Mind instead. Some hubs are just saying, come down and sew whatever you want, work on your work in progress, but we're doing it all together. And there's that social aspect. And then each hub is going to connect with us at the HQ at some point on an Instagram live so that we get to check in on each other. And 2 of the hubs actually are doing 24 hours, which I'm extremely proud about.
Yeah.
Because as we said, it's not a small undertaking. So incredible that they're willing to do that. And I think everyone's really excited. And it's almost like a test for yourself. Like, can I do this? It's interesting to find out your own limits, I think, and your own capabilities. It's very exciting that these places are doing that. And there'll be like a core team at each hub that keeps sewing, and customers can pop in and out when they can and when they want. Other hubs are doing maybe like just a section of the day, so like 10 till 4, something like that. So in different ways, they are contributing to our efforts to fundraise for Mind, which is the mental health charity that we're very, very keen on. Also, what's been very interesting this year is that the hubs are coming up with themes, and this all came from their side. Nice to see that when you give someone an idea, like, do you want to join the Big Sew Off? then they've come back to me with such great ideas. Like there's a hub in Birmingham who are a fabric shop and they do sewing classes, and they're called Guthrie and Gani. They will be open from 10 a.m. to 10 p.m. So again, quite a long amount of time. And they are focusing on stretch fabrics. You can come in and work on your own jersey top, but also they have their teachers there so they can give you tips and help you out if you're stuck on a pattern step. And like a new aspect of it, which is let's all sew together for mind, but also let's learn a new skill. Let's talk about troubleshooting with specifically stretch fabrics. And that I absolutely love. The hub in Essex, for example, is focusing on making small, easy projects so that you can really just pop in and out, I think, because you can make a toiletries bag in an hour or so.
Yeah.
So you can just pop in and it doesn't have to be this big project. One of the hubs in Scotland are making drawstring trousers. So it's like you go and you have the pattern there, and they're working with fabric donations from customers. So I think everyone's really made it their own. That's what we want with the big sew off. We've organized a certain thing and something's happening at the HQ, but we want everyone to take that as a spark to then make it their own. This brings me to the lovely Janine Ubop on Instagram, who we've worked with many times as Sew Over It. And this year she decided to join the big sew off in a big way. So she's going to sew for 24 hours from her lovely sewing studio that I've been to a couple of times. And it's just a little haven of creativity. It's incredible. She just has things on the go in every corner. So she's going to sew for 24 hours. She's already thought of all the patterns that she's going to make. And yeah, it's very exciting to see people putting effort into making this something really good, because at the moment my life revolves around making this event very good. And so to see someone else take the idea and put in all the effort, it just warms my heart, honestly. I can't tell you how happy it makes me. You want it to be a success, obviously, in the sense of the fundraising. We want to raise money, as much money as possible, of course. And we have a Just Giving page where people can donate throughout the day. They can donate. Someone's already donated, which I love them so much for.
That.
Yeah, it's just like something to get you started on your efforts, which is wonderful. So that is obviously the main reason that we're doing this. We're fundraising, but it can also be a very inspiring moment for the sewing community in general. It's exciting, you know, like when you join a challenge, a sewing challenge, which I love doing when I have the time. I love a challenge because it gives me a focus. It maybe helps reignite my love of sewing if I'm feeling a little bit down, like I've lost my sojo. A challenge is a great way of getting back into it. And the big sew off feels like a challenge that's bigger than anyone, like bigger than ourselves, bigger than Sew Over It, bigger than the individual sewists. I just love the idea of that throughout those 24 hours, there will be people all around the world in their sewing room going, okay, I'm going to do a bit of sewing. I'm going to pop on the big sew off because we're live streaming the whole 24 hours on the Sew Over It YouTube channel. So you can just say, oh, I was going to sew anyway today. I'm going to sew and I'll watch what they're up to on the live stream and I'll donate a little bit. And, you know, no amount is too small. Whatever you can spare, even if it's £2, we'd love that. It's all about getting as many people excited about it and involved in the whole effort.
As you said, any amount will help to add to the pot of money that eventually goes to Mind Charity.
This year, we were thinking it would be very nice to have, again, that focus to keep you going, to know why you're sewing. At the HQ, we are making clothes for women and children to donate to an organization that's called Give Your Best. They are an organization here in the UK. So they've created a website where you upload pictures of your clothes that you no longer wear, and then you can sell them to profit yourself. Give Your Best is like Vinted with a heart. So you're uploading your old clothes and they get bought by refugees and asylum seekers. So they're free for them, but they still have the experience of going through the catalogue and picking and choosing what they like. You know, it's not just a big bag of donations and you'll get what you get. There is the added agency to someone who is going through a horrible, really tough time. They have a moment of, I do have some choices. I do have the opportunity to pick something that suits me. And also, you know, maybe they're nice clothes, like they accept any clothes, but obviously you want to donate things that are in a good state. So maybe they'll find a dress that they can wear to a work interview, for example, something like that, but they wouldn't necessarily have access from a bag of t-shirts and jeans that you just get given, you know?
Yeah, exactly.
So there's something very special about this organization. And Rosie, our CEO, she found out about Give Your Best, and we got in contact, and they are very excited because they usually only have secondhand clothes on their website. And now with the big sew off, they're going to have an influx of lovingly handmade clothes from us. And they are looking for clothes for women and children, and mainly seasonal. So what we're doing is things for the UK's autumn.
Yep.
And there will be a range, you know, there will be comfy clothes. We're doing lots of t-shirts for children in really bright, beautiful colors. And then we are doing clothes for women that will range from, you know, a casual skirt to a really pretty dress. There's a little bit of everything. But I think for me personally, that gives me such a focus to know that I'm making something that is going to make a person feel really special. And they're going to choose this item and feel a little bit of love, I hope. I think I would feel very special. So it feels like a really nice reason to be sewing all night, you know?
From speaking with Janine, she's planning on making those clothes, but she's also planning to make sure that the outside is just as lovely and as well done as on the inside.
Exactly.
You know, that level of putting your heart into your sewing for other people is already there. And I know that we'll see that throughout the 24-hour period.
Yeah, definitely. If I'm sewing something for myself, maybe I keep some little things like a bit of hand sewing. I'll go like, oh no, I'll just sew it on the machine. I don't mind. It's just for me. But if I'm making a gift for someone that I love, I really make sure that everything looks super special. And that's the energy that we're going into this sewing for Give Your Best. So we're very excited about that. And that is what we're doing at the HQ, but different hubs are donated to different charities, maybe more local to them. And if people want to join from home, they can absolutely donate to Give Your Best as well, because you have to take a couple of pictures and upload the details. And then when the item is sold for free, but when the item is chosen, you post it to the person who's chosen it. Anyone can do that here in the UK. But if you're joining from a different place in the world, you can find a local charity. Some hospitals I know take baby grows and little hats and things like that for newborn babies. There's people who need clothes all around you. So you can find a good place to donate them to. Or you can just sew for yourself. It's fine. Sew for yourself, join in the whole big sew off energy and momentum to finish something that you've been working on for months or something like that. Why not?
Yeah, why not? The other thing I saw on the website were labels for the big sew off. Is that correct?
Yes. This year, we decided to partner up with a company called So Anonymous. Last year, they donated us some of their labels. They design really, really cute labels that you can add to your me-mades. I've used them many times. They're adorable. So this year, they got in touch saying, we'd love to support the big sew off again. And I said, I'm going to try my luck and ask if this is possible. I don't know if it's possible, but could we create some big sew off specific labels? Amy of So Anonymous was so excited about the idea, which again made me so happy, because again, you put something out into the world and someone catches it and makes something amazing with it. She really did. So she designed some little woven labels, red with some white writing. So they're basically like the big sew off logo, but with the shape of like an old fashioned biscuit, but it's like with scalloped edges, you know?
Nice. Sounds yummy.
Yeah, it is. So they're really cute. They're really on brand with the big sew off. And we'll be adding those to what we make at the HQ. You can buy a pack of 4 labels. You can add them to what you're making for someone else, or just keep them as collector's items, put them in something special. Why not? The best thing about these labels is that all the profits also go to Mind. So incredibly generous of So Anonymous. She decided to donate everything that's made from these labels to the big sew off pot for Mind. So it's all going to help. And it's a little detail that is just adorable. And she's even left space on the back to write in the size of the garment. So if you are donating it, then it has the size on it. And it's just an extra cute touch to contribute to the love that's being put into these garments.
And it's very thoughtful so that it then can be passed on to someone else in the future too. That's great.
Yeah, it's one of those things that started as an idea and suddenly we have this real thing in our hands that looks so good. And I'm very proud of that.
So the team at Sew Over It have been putting a lot of effort into the big sew off, and all of these other hubs are providing their input and their initiative to be able to provide more money for the pot for Mind Charity as part of the big sew off. Plus people who are doing things in their own home to support you, like Janine. It's going to be such a big 24 hours.
The reason that we've chosen Mind as a charity is because they provide mental health support to people in need here in the UK. We feel very, very strongly at Sew Over It that the two things are connected, mental health and sewing. Personally, sewing has helped me through a lot of things. I think in terms of, I suffer from anxiety constantly, but sometimes I go through very bad times, and sewing is something that I can do that just stops me from spiraling, which is what anxiety does to me, is that I start thinking of 100 things that I need to do and how everything could go wrong, and I catastrophize. That is what it's called. I catastrophize every situation.
Yeah.
So it's so hard to turn your brain off when you're going through something like that. And sewing is genuinely one of the things that always works to stop my brain from doing that. Because you're focusing on something that is step 1, step 2, step 3. You can't look ahead too much. You have to look at what's exactly in front of you at that time. And you also are working towards making something that you will use, that will be useful, that will be beautiful, hopefully. And there's something that just focuses all your efforts into this task that really helps me personally in terms of mental health, and it has come in handy many times, even if I'm just sewing something small, a little bag or something, just to quieten everything and refocus myself. That's my personal story. There are many others in the Sew Over It team, but we all feel like it's a really important thing, and it's a nice thing to support, but it's also a nice thing to remind ourselves that it's linked and it can help.
Your story is definitely one that a lot of people will connect with and understand. And obviously last year, a lot of people thought that it was a good charity to help support. So there'll be even more people who will now know about it, who are going to get involved with the big sew-off, and will also be contributing in September. And it's on the 4th of September, starting from 10 a.m. to Tuesday, the 5th of September at 10 a.m. in the UK.
Yes, exactly. A long time to sew. But you can pop in at any time, a lovely time, and you can join in at any time. We're doing 24 hours. Janine is doing 24 hours. A lot of other people are doing 24 hours, but you don't have to. You can just tune in a couple of hours, have a look, have a sew. You do it your way. It has to work for you.
And all the key information is not only on the show notes for the podcast, but definitely go to the Big Sew Off website and you'll find everything, the partners, the hubs,
all the information you could want,
everything. And also anything new. Yeah.
And anything new. We've got a news section when we get new information about hubs and things like that. We're popping it on there, and it's just thebigsewoff.com. Nice and easy to remember. On the day, do make sure that you follow at the Big Sew Off and at Sew Over It London, because that's where the live content will be happening. So it will be on those two accounts, and we'll be connecting with lots of amazing people.
Wonderful. Alma, thank you so much for giving us your time today. I know that a lot of people will be looking forward to the 24 hours of the Big Sew-Off. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for having me. I hope that as many people as possible can tune in, donate, get involved in one way or another. It's a great cause, and I think it's a great time to bring the whole sewing community together, which is always a wonderful thing to do.
It is wonderful. Thanks a lot, Alma.
Thanks so much, Maria. Bye.
Bye. This episode for the Big Sew-Off on Sew Organised Style podcast was produced by me, Maria Thea Harris. Make sure you go to the Big Sew-Off on Instagram, the Big Sew-Off website, or go to the Just Giving page. On the day, you'll find this 24-hour charity event will be live streamed on YouTube, and each hour there will be a live broadcast on Instagram. We look forward to seeing you at the Big Sew-Off starting on Monday the 4th of September, running for 24 hours. Stay safe, everyone.